Alrighty, we're here for the last bad ending, or the official bad ending, depending on how you look at things. So we're back in chapter 4 with low romance, and the only difference between this and the unrequited love ending is this time we leave without saying goodbye. So, no fun times, I'm assuming? It's going to be quite different, but Harada's probably going to catch us leaving. So let's see what happens. As Nakakura waded clumsily into the darkness, I made my escape, sliding open the front door as quietly as humanly possible so nobody would notice. I was committed to heading for Edo alone. Harada insisted that he would have wanted to join me, but I knew deep down this wasn't the truth. This wasn't his journey to take. And if he missed the opportunity to fight beside his dearest friend Nagakura while they both still lived, I was sure he would regret it for the rest of his life. I couldn't be responsible for that kind of regret. How far are you gonna get? A frigid wind brushed against my cheeks as I traversed through the dark, hilly trail, watching my breath turn to vapor as I huffed from exhaustion. If I looked, even once, over my shoulder, I knew that I would regret leaving alone, so I kept my eyes focused on the trail ahead and ran swiftly. Just then... Really? Well, that's a new sound. Howling or growling dogs in the distance startled me. Dogs had the ability to track scents from kilometers away, so it was likely that they had already picked up on my location. Help, Harada! I cupped my hand over my mouth. It worked partly as a way to stop myself from saying his name, but it was more so an attempt to refrain from panicking. Each howling bark was louder than the last. Just then, 3 enormous dogs lunged from behind a bush, pouncing towards me through the darkness. Ah! I caught sight of their razor-sharp fangs, which were pointed right towards me as they charged forward, just as I threw my hands in front of my face. Poor Sano.
God damn it! How many times do I have to tell you not to leave my sight?
That voice! I heard a spear twirling overhead. That's 3 thumbs. Harada swung the end of his spear against one of the charging wild dogs, cracking one of its ribs. The dog whimpered out of cowardice and fled back into the bushes. I would. I timidly peeked through the fingers covering my face to see him standing right in front of me.
Are you hurt at all, Chizuru?
Harada wore an expression of admonishment, peering down upon me with pity. Whatever convictions I had held to carry myself into the wilderness were cast aside, and all of a sudden I felt foolish for entertaining the thought. Yes, I muttered with my head held low.
Let's head back now. You're going to explain whatever it was that compelled you to pull this crap on me.
Oh no, we in trouble. Harada turned away from me coldly. We walked together in silence back to the inn.
This isn't the first time you've tried leaving me without saying goodbye. Something about this time hurt more than the last, though. Do you really not want to be with me?
The thought of causing Harada pain was unbearable, and there was nothing that I could say or do that would allow me to save face in a sincere manner. Instead, I watched my toes flex timidly as Harada kept his gaze fixed upon me. It's my responsibility to stop my father.
But isn't your responsibility also my responsibility?
No. I shook my head. Harada, there are so many people who care about you that deserve far more of your time than I do. The Shinsengumi, Heisuke, Nagakura. The first 2 you threw away for my sake.
Yeah, and that was my decision. You have no right feeling guilty over that.
Harada spoke resolutely, and I wanted so badly to believe him, but... I just can't bear the thought of being the reason that you and Nagakura have to split apart. I mean, what would happen if either you or Nagakura were to die? How could you live with that? Well, if Harada's the one that's dead, then he doesn't have to live with that. Science! Nagakura was Harada's most trusted ally on the battlefield. Before I arrived, they were by all accounts inseparable, dedicating every moment of their lives in the pursuit of becoming the strongest warriors they could be. What chance did either of them have of keeping their hearts from shattering if the other were to die? What chance did any of us have? Could I watch the man I love mourn the loss of his closest confidant, especially if it were because of my selfishness? I'm so pathetic. It's impossible to shake the feeling that I'm nothing more than a burden on you. All I want is for you to live your life without any regrets, Harada. Because I love you. Was that coming back to it? Yeah, that is coming back around to what it was. So, still make out. Huh. Well, that was a lot more pain involved in getting to that point. But I got there. Interesting. I thought for sure we were going to skip that scene. That just makes this bad ending harder. Okay, so you guys are still going to do your thing. And I gotta wait to get back to Ibuki, basically. We're gonna pick the same choice we picked with Ibuki last time. Gonna skip the whole dream sequence with Dad yet again. So, yeah. That's interesting. I don't know, it's weird to just have, like, wild dogs. I mean, wild dogs are out there, it's just that you hardly ever see them in this game. I think it's the first time we ever ran into wild dogs. Oh, well, alright. Well, Ibuki, it's, we've really been terrible to Harada this whole... All these bad endings were just like, I gotta get out of here. Boy just wants to love you, girl. Sharing all your struggles and things. Okay. So I say I'm used to it again. And then see if the deviation is the same thing where it's with Dad. Maybe she'll try leaving again when he's talking to Ibuki, though. I don't know. Nope, she stayed. Okay. Well, at least we still get to say goodbye to Ibuki and Shizu. And we held hands even if we didn't share dreams and smooches and things. Okay. So we've tracked down Dad again. See if Shiranui is waiting again as well. Yep, Shiranui's here too. Shiranui never misses out on a good fight, even if it's a bad ending. Alright. Harada, you gonna jump out? Yeah, okay. That's the same again. Are we gonna stab our dad again? Like in the unrequited love ending? Hi, Dad. I think she's gonna do it, yep. She never faltered once with stabbing her dad. Good on you, girl. Even in the alternate endings. Alright. It's going demon mode again. Throwing his crazy scalpels. Okay. Hopefully we don't get hit in the nose again. I think we're running? Yeah, we're running this time. My body reacted before I had a chance to think. At first, I was standing in front of Father where Sanosuke had been standing then.
Chizuru!
My mind must have been playing tricks on me, as I thought I'd heard Sanosuke frantically calling my name from behind me. Then... the eerie sound of flesh being cut into, like a knife digging from under the surface of skin and blood, sent a shiver down my spine. Time seemed to dilate, and my vision began to spin as I fixated upon the blood dripping to the ground. Everything moved at a snail's pace. My knees suddenly began wobbling like the power in my legs was leaving me, and I fell to the ground. Where did he cut me this time?
Chizuru! You alright? Chizuru!
Sanosuke was inches from my face, screaming at my name, but for some reason he sounded so far from me. As if my anxiety couldn't have gotten worse. Soon my vision had all but disappeared, blurring Sanosuke's facial features with each second. Oh. Fear of loneliness began to trickle in, and out of reflex I reached my hand out towards him. Without a second to hesitate, Sanosuke grabbed my hand and clasped it tightly in his own. As a result of how much blood I was losing, the rest of my body felt cold, akin to being submerged in a bath of ice. Because of this, his hand was awfully warmer than usual. I am so sorry. I felt weak as I struggled to form sentences with my lips. All of this was my fault. We were supposed to make our dreams come to fruition at the end of this. I promised Sanosuke that I would always be by his side. After a while, every bit of feeling left in my body began to trickle away. Even the warmth of Sanosuke's hand was slipping from me.
It'll be okay. Just wait here. After I handle everything, I'm going to bring you to a doctor, and they're gonna fix you right up.
The sound of his voice was muted in my ears, but I sensed him resting my body gently upon the dirt. From the corner of my eye, I watched him grab his spear and ready himself for another battle.
All right, you bastards! Let's go, all of you at once! I, Sanosuke Harada, will destroy you!
I shut my eyes as I tried to focus on what he was shouting from nearby. I had been convinced earlier that he had depleted all of his stamina fighting throughout the night, and he was too exhausted to continue, but... I am so sorry, Sanosuke. I'm not sure how much longer we can be together. Interesting. So that was kind of like an inverse of the unrequited love ending. Except he actually got to say, well, not really say goodbye, but at least he talked to her before she died, and she wasn't feasted upon by Furies. I'm sure him and Shiranui were able to take care of things. Which makes me wonder, did Harada then commit seppuku and kill himself? Or did he leave with Shiranui? Or did he go back to Shin? I don't know. I don't know what I would like to have happened there. Post your theories down below in the comments. Anyway, that's the end. Okay, so after doing all those endings and kind of meditating on Harada's route as a whole, I think I'm gonna put him at number 3 on my list. I really enjoyed his route, don't get me wrong. Like, it was very romantic, very sweet. The pacing just felt a little weird. Like, chapter 1 felt so long, and then chapter 2 was like, oh yeah, there's also like a war going on, but it's not a big part of Harada's story, basically, so we'll just move on through that. And we didn't have as much interaction with Shin as I thought we were going to, traveling and stuff. And we didn't really get Harada's motives for leaving because we were his motive for leaving. And then the whole Sanon thing was just kind of dropped, never explored again. Kazuma just never showed up, which I was shocked by, that him and Sano didn't at least interact once. I mean, I know Shiranui was like the guy for Harada's route, but it's still just weird for Chikage not to play a part, considering Chizuru's big fear was being snatched away. So because of all of that, it just kind of, I'm like, Soji and Hajime's routes still feel the most rounded for me in terms of romance and overall story. So they're still number 1 and 2 respectively. And I'm going to put Harada at number 3 with Heisuke and Toshi following afterwards. But that's just me. Where did... Oh, no. Don't you play the intro music. Not again. I love the intro, but it's copyrighted. I can't have it play all the time. I'm babbling again. But anyway, as I was saying, I'd love to hear where Harada fell on your list, unless you told me already at the end of his actual good ending. In which case, you can feel free to ignore my babblings and ramblings as per usual, which is probably just good advice in general. Anyway, okay, we are done with Sano's route. Thank you very much for joining me. I thoroughly enjoyed it. He is a very good husbando, and I'm so thrilled that him and Chizuru had a baby, and we're living their best life by the ocean, because that's ideal. But now that we're done, it's back to England exchange, and Marky Boy is waiting for us, and I'm so excited to finally begin his route and find out if I've just not been getting that he's strange and being like, Mark seems pretty chill, or if he actually is really strange, and I'll finally find out that, oh, okay, no, I wasn't getting it before. So if you want to join me over there, I hope I shall see you there, guys. Thanks again for joining me, and until next time, I will see you later.